You know, there's something deeply tragic about the way most men show up in the dating world today. You see them sitting across from a woman at dinner, grinning like a boy who just got picked first in gym class. They're trying so hard to say the right thing, keep the mood light, avoid making her uncomfortable, when deep down they're hoping desperately that she'll feel something, that she'll want them. That tonight might not end in just a polite hug, but here's the thing. She already knows. She knows you want her. She felt it the second your eyes landed on her lips. She felt it when you shifted nervously in your seat, when your eyes flicked down to her chest and you looked away like a guilty teenager. She knows. And the tragedy isn't in your desire. The tragedy is in the fact that you're hiding it like it's something to be ashamed of. We live in a time where men are terrified of their own hunger, terrified that showing desire will make them look predatory, disrespectful, or worse, unworthy. So instead, they bury it under jokes. They nod and laugh. They say, we should do this again sometime, when their whole body is screaming, I want you tonight. But let me tell you something, raw women are not afraid of your desire. They're afraid of a man who lies about it. When a woman feels that you want her, but that you're not saying it, not owning it, she begins to question everything about you. Not because you're being crude, but because you're not being honest. And if you're not honest about something as human, as sacred, as natural as desire, then how can she trust you with anything else? Here's the truth. Women crave to be desired, to be seen and felt deeply, but not in the way you've been taught to do it. Not with words dripping in neediness, not with compliments thrown like confetti, but with presence, with clarity, with a calm, grounded energy that says, yes, I want you. And I'm not here to beg for it. I'm here to see if you want it too. There's a massive difference between lust and desire. Lust is hungry, sloppy, uncontained. It wants to consume. But desire, real masculine desire, it holds space, it honors. It says, I see you, and I don't need to rush this. The moment you begin to own your desire without apology, without games, without performative swagger, is the moment she starts to relax. Because now she doesn't have to second guess what you're thinking. Now she doesn't have to guard herself against manipulation. She can feel you. And if she feels you, she can trust you. And when a woman trusts you with her emotions, with her nervous system, with her sense of safety, she will often trust you with her body too. But here's the twist. This isn't about getting her into bed. This is about being a man who doesn't betray himself just to be liked. This is about letting your words, your eyes, your energy all align. No more pretending you just want to talk. No more hoping she makes the first move so you don't have to. Be the one who's willing to be seen. And if she's not into it, if she pulls back, good. That's clarity. You didn't waste 3 dates trying to be someone else. You showed her who you are, and you gave her the dignity of choosing whether that was for her. That's what a real man does. So the next time you're with a woman and you feel that fire start to rise in you, that pull in your chest, that ache in your hands to touch her cheek, that surge in your gut that says, God, I want her, don't suppress it. Don't perform it either. Just breathe into it. Let her feel it through your presence. Let it live in your tone, your posture, your honesty. Because when a woman feels that you're not afraid of your desire, she might just let you be the one to fulfill hers. You ever notice how many men confuse leading with directing traffic? They think being a leader means picking the restaurant, ordering for her, opening the Uber door. They think it's about logistics, being decisive, being the guy with the plan. But while all that might look confident on the surface, it doesn't go deep enough to stir something real in a woman. Because here's the truth. Women don't follow where you go. They follow how you feel. Let me say that again because it matters more than you think. She doesn't respond to the fact that you chose Italian instead of sushi. She responds to the emotional climate you bring into the space. Your nervous system, how calm it is, how anchored, how emotionally safe it feels to be in your presence. You could plan the most extravagant date with rooftop views and Michelin stars and rooftop jazz. But if your energy is frantic, if you're trying to impress her with everything you're doing, if you're focused on the outcome instead of the moment, she will feel it. And she will pull away without even knowing why. You want her to let go with you. Then you have to be the one who's already let go. Let go of the need to prove. Let go of the need to control the outcome. Let go of the part of you that's performing rather than being. Because a woman doesn't want to be directed through the night. She wants to be taken on an emotional journey. You want to know what makes a woman wet. It's not confidence in the traditional sense. It's emotional leadership. Can you hold the room with your energy? Can you stay relaxed when there's tension? Can you laugh at yourself without deflating? Can you say something bold and not flinch when there's silence? That's leadership. That's what makes a woman lean in physically and emotionally. Because now she's not just with a guy who has a plan. She's with a man who can handle her. Not just her body, but her uncertainty, her fire, her chaos, her softness, and most importantly, his own emotions. You see, when a woman lets herself be vulnerable, when she opens emotionally or physically, she's surrendering control. And she can only do that with someone who knows what to do with her trust. That's the deeper part of emotional leadership. Can she trust you not to crumble under the weight of intimacy? Most men crumble. They get nervous when she gets quiet. They talk too much when she starts staring instead of speaking. They fidget when the conversation slows and rush to fill the silence. But if you can hold that space, if you can sit in the quiet, look into her eyes, and be completely at peace without having to fix or fill or impress, then you've shown her something very few men ever do. You've shown her that she can let go, because you're already rooted. This is where sex begins, not in her bed, but in the way you hold the moment, in how deeply present you are when she tells you something painful from her past, in how slow and intentional you are when you touch her for the first time, not to escalate, but to connect. Leadership isn't domination, it isn't authority, it's emotional guidance. It's inviting her into an experience you're already embodying. If you want her to relax, you have to be relaxed. If you want her to be playful, you have to lead with joy. If you want her to be turned on, you have to walk in the room already in touch with that grounded, sacred sexual energy inside yourself. Stop trying to control the night. Instead, guide her emotionally through it. Let her feel like she's stepping into a world that's been built not just with plans, but with presence. That's the kind of leadership that opens a woman's heart. That opens her body. That makes her want to follow you. Not because you told her to, but because she felt something in you that made her choose to. That's the difference between being a man who leads a woman through dinner and being a man who leads her into deep embodied desire. There's something so deeply exhausting about needing to be liked. And I don't mean that in a superficial, I want likes on my post kind of way. I'm talking about that low, constant hum of anxiety you carry as a man when you walk into a room, see a woman you're attracted to, and immediately shift into performance mode. Your voice changes. Your posture becomes overly confident, or worse, overly polite. You laugh too quickly. You say, no worries, even when you're uncomfortable. You're not being with her. You're trying to get something from her approval, her smile, her validation, her permission to feel good about yourself. And she can feel all of it. Women are emotionally attuned in a way most men will never fully understand. She doesn't need you to say, please like me. She hears it in your tone, in the way you agree too quickly, in how you avoid silence like it's poison. You're afraid she might reject you, so you reject your real self before she even has the chance. But here's the paradox: the more you seek her approval, the less she respects you. Because in that moment, you've already made her the prize, you've handed her all the power, and now you're chasing her, hoping she'll give you a taste of connection, of intimacy, of worth. You've become a beggar at a banquet you were invited to. Let me ask you something: why are you trying to earn something that should only ever be shared? Real connection cannot be chased. It must be invited. And that invitation only comes when you stand firm in who you are and allow her to decide if that's something she wants to walk toward. You don't need to win her. You don't need to trick or convince her. You just need to be the kind of man who is so rooted in himself that if she walks away, you're still whole. Because a woman doesn't want to carry you. She doesn't want to hold up your self-worth on her back. She wants to meet you, equal energy, equal sovereignty. But how can she do that if you've already made her the sun? And you're just some desperate planet trying to stay in orbit? You need to understand something. Feminine energy moves towards strength. Not brute strength, not chest-beating, ego-laced bravado. I'm talking about the strength of a man who can say, here I am, take it or leave it. And if she leaves it, good. Not every woman will choose you. And you shouldn't want them to. You don't need every woman, you need the right one. And the right woman is not impressed by your performance. She's moved by your presence. There's a kind of unshakable magnetism that lives inside a man who is done chasing. He walks into a room and people feel something, even if he says nothing. He speaks slower. He doesn't rush to fill the gaps. He lets people come to him because he knows what he's worth. He's not afraid to be alone with it. That's what makes a woman lean in, not because you grabbed her attention, but because you didn't need to. And that energy, it's intoxicating. You want to be unforgettable to a woman. Be the man who doesn't lose himself trying to get her to notice him. Be the one who can look her in the eye and smile, whether she lights up or turns away, because your worth is not up for debate. It's already decided by you. So let her come to you. Let her feel your centeredness, your calm, your quiet certainty. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're finally not playing anything at all. You're just there, rooted, honest, present. And she'll feel it in her gut that this man is different, that this man isn't chasing anything because he already knows he's enough. And if she's ready, she'll come. And if she's not, you're still whole. Let me tell you something uncomfortable, but true. Nice guys don't turn women on. They get thanked. They get pitied. Sometimes they get used. But they rarely get chosen, not by a woman who's fully in her feminine. And it's not because kindness isn't attractive. It's because weakness is not. You've been told to be a gentleman, to never raise your voice, to always play it safe, to be agreeable, polite, soft-spoken. You've been taught to put everyone else's comfort before your own. And now you wonder why she doesn't feel that primal pull toward you. It's because there's no fire in your presence, no edge, no heat, no risk. A woman in her feminine wants to feel you, not just hear you. She wants to feel your power, your depth, your capability to shake the room if you needed to, but your choice not to. That's the difference between being dangerous and being reckless. See, recklessness is immature, it's uncontained, it lashes out, it gets drunk and makes a mess, it takes without asking. And women are deeply repelled by it, not just emotionally, but biologically, because that kind of man doesn't feel safe. But danger, controlled danger, that's erotic, that's masculine. It's the man who walks into a room and doesn't say much, but you can feel that he's built for war, that if he needed to, he could destroy. But he won't, because he's chosen mastery over impulse. That's the man a woman gives herself to. Not because he forced it, not because he begged, but because she sensed that this is a man who holds real, embodied power, and he uses it wisely. You want to know why she slept with that guy she barely knew? It wasn't just looks. It wasn't money. It was how he made her feel in his presence. Did she feel tension? Heat? A little fear, but in the good way? Did she feel that if she lost herself with him, she wouldn't fall, she'd fly? If you don't carry that kind of energy, then she'll keep seeing you as safe, but not in the way that makes her surrender. In the way that makes her guarded, polite, distant. Always. Not ready. Being dangerous doesn't mean you threaten people. It means you have access to your full range, and you've tamed it. You can go there if you need to, but you don't lead with it. You walk with it humming quietly in the background like a low drumbeat beneath your calm voice. That's what makes her melt. It's not your smile. It's not your cologne. It's that when you look at her, she knows if something went wrong right now, you'd handle it, and not with panic, with poise, with clarity, with strength. That's what safety actually looks like. Not predictability, not emotional passivity, but the presence of a man who knows himself so deeply that no chaos can pull him out of alignment. She can scream, cry, collapse in your arms, and you won't fold. She can test you, tease you, try to provoke you, and you'll meet her fire with presence, not panic. This is the man she gives herself to. This is the man she fantasizes about when she's alone. Because it's not just about sex. It's about being taken emotionally, spiritually, and physically by someone who can handle all of her. If you're constantly walking on eggshells, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of saying the wrong thing, then you've already neutered your masculine edge. You're not dangerous. You're performing safety. And women don't want performance, they want truth. And the truth is, every man has something wild inside him, a kind of heat that burns just below the surface. You've just spent years stuffing it down so you wouldn't scare anyone. But what if that fire wasn't something to fear? What if it was the very thing that could make her trust you more deeply? What if your power, your edge, wasn't the problem, but the invitation? So don't be reckless. Don't be loud for no reason. Don't fake alpha energy, but do be dangerous. Do be a man who can go deep, who can take the lead and hold the line, who can say no when it counts, and yes, when it matters. Because when a woman sees that kind of man, she stops overthinking. She stops testing. She lets go. And sometimes she lets you have all of her that same day. Let me ask you something raw. Have you ever tried to make a woman want you? You know what I mean. You overinvest. You go out of your way. You compliment her nonstop. You message her first every time. You show her how thoughtful you are. You do everything right. But it still doesn't land. She still seems cold, distant, ambivalent. She still says, I'm not ready, or I'm just figuring things out. And that rejection, especially after you've given her everything, it stings. Because deep down, you feel like she should want you. You've done all the things. You've tried to be everything she said she was looking for. So why doesn't it work? It doesn't work because she never chose you. She was cornered by your goodness, not invited by your freedom. Listen to me carefully. Women don't respond to pressure. They respond to possibility, to emotional spaciousness, to the freedom to come closer or to walk away, and to know you won't crumble either way. This is the part most men don't get. You can't make her feel something. You can only offer her the conditions in which she wants to feel it. And that begins when she knows that your desire isn't a trap. Because when a woman senses even 1 ounce of emotional manipulation, when she feels you're trying to buy her body with your kindness or force attraction with your attention, her body says no, even if she doesn't understand why. That's not love. That's not desire. That's control dressed up as care. And here's the deeper truth. When you try to force a connection, it's not because you love her. It's because you're terrified of not being chosen. You're afraid that if you give her too much space, she'll walk away. And the truth is, maybe she will. But here's what makes you powerful as a man, being able to say, if she stays, beautiful. If she leaves, I'm still grounded. Because now you're not performing for love. You're embodying it. You're showing up as someone who desires, not someone who needs. And that right there is freedom. You want her to want you the same day she meets you. Then stop trying to make her feel safe by overextending yourself. Make her feel safe by giving her space, space to feel her own desire, space to move toward you, space to come closer without being suffocated by your hope. There's something deeply erotic about being chosen when there was no pressure. When she could have said no but said yes. When you didn't try to convince her but she couldn't stop thinking about you anyway. That only happens when she feels free in your presence, free to be messy, free to flirt and then pull back, free to take her time. And you're still calm, still grounded, still right there, eyes open, heart open, but not chasing, because you're not there to win her. You're there to share something if she wants it. And if she doesn't, you respect that. You move on, you stay open to someone who will. Freedom is your power, brother. When she knows you won't punish her for not wanting you, she relaxes. When she knows you're not going to sulk, manipulate, guilt, trip, or perform for her affection, she trusts you. And when a woman trusts you, her whole body opens. Because now you've become rare. You're not just another man trying to get in her pants. You're a man who knows what he wants and doesn't need to force it. That freedom is magnetic. It creates curiosity, not obligation. It creates desire, not guilt. And that's the space where real connection, real intimacy happens, not from pressure, not from performance, but from presence, from choice. So the next time you meet her, don't try to get her. Let her come to you. Let her explore your energy like a fire she wants to get close to, not a cage she has to climb into. And if she does, you'll both know it's real because no one forced it. She wanted it. And that's what makes her say yes, not tomorrow. Today, you want to know what makes a woman offer herself to a man so quickly it leaves her own mind spinning. It's not your status, not your physique, not your game. It's when you see her, not just her face, not just her body, but her, the soul underneath all of it. See, most men talk to women like they're puzzles to solve. Strategies to decode, objects to unlock with the right line or the perfect vibe. But a woman isn't a safe to crack open. She's a storm of emotion. She's layers, chaos, tenderness, doubt, fire. And she's constantly watching to see if the man in front of her has the emotional courage to meet her there, or if he's just putting on a mask to get in her pants. Because most men never bother to really look. They're so busy impressing her, they don't even notice the tremble in her voice when she talks about her father. They miss the sadness behind her laugh. They skip over the way she fidgets when she talks about being too much for most men. They don't ask the real questions. They don't hold the uncomfortable silences. They don't see her. But the moment a woman feels seen, everything changes. Something ancient awakens inside her. Her guard softens, her body leans in, her voice slows down. Because in a world where she's constantly objectified, manipulated, underestimated, and used, you did something most men don't. You looked into her soul and stayed. And I don't mean with grand romantic gestures. I'm talking about being present. I'm talking about listening without waiting for your turn to speak. I'm talking about asking a question that no one's asked her in years, then actually caring about the answer. Most men are starving for sex, but never stop to think that maybe, just maybe, a woman is starving to be understood. And when you touch that hunger, when you become the first man in a long time who holds her story without judging her, fixing her, or rushing her, that's when she gives you everything. Not because you took it, because she chose you for it. Do you understand how rare that is for her? To be with a man who isn't looking to use her femininity to fill his emptiness, but who's willing to witness her messy, raw, radiant, complex. That kind of man, he's unforgettable, because now you're not just a physical experience. You become a spiritual memory. You're the moment she let her walls down and didn't regret it. And it doesn't take a 6-month chase to get there. You can become that safe space for her the same day you meet, but only if you drop the game, only if you stop performing, only if you dare to be human with her and with yourself. Look her in the eye. Ask her what lights her up. Ask her what breaks her heart. Ask her what she's afraid of. And when she answers, stay. Don't squirm. Don't change the subject. Don't judge. Let the moment stretch. Let the vulnerability rise. Let the silence speak. Because in that silence, she's not just deciding if she wants to sleep with you. She's deciding if she can trust you with her deepest self. And when she can, you don't need to convince her. You don't need a strategy. You don't need to ask, should I make a move? She'll make the move. She'll lean in. She'll soften. She'll let go. Because she knows that you're safe, not because you're nice, not because you followed the script, but because you saw her and didn't flinch. So if you want her to give herself to you, don't start with your desire. Start with presence. Start with empathy. Start with being the first man who isn't trying to take from her, but to understand her. Because when you touch a woman's soul, her body follows, not out of obligation, not out of manipulation, but out of that sacred feeling she's been waiting for, finally, a man who gets me. And when she feels that, she'll give herself to you, not because she had to, but because her whole being said yes.